Welcome, my Zentangle friends. My name is Emmy, and I'm so pleased that you're here today with me. And I know that we're just going to have a wonderful time together. This is the month of love. I have love for all kinds of things and people, and I'm lucky to have several loved ones and friends that I love to send special things to, and I have since I was a little girl. So we're going to have lots of fun this month, even after Valentine's Day. So our fun will not stop on the 14th, and as you can see by this, you're a good reader. I won't bother you with that. We have 4 Mondays to focus on love together, so we will enjoy this. If you want, take a screenshot of this. They're the patterns that we're going to be doing today. And we may use them again as the month goes on. We'll see. So this is spiral rose and wrapped rose. And those two we will practice together before we do our fun activity. If you haven't already, this is worthy of a screenshot too. If you haven't already, please do download the love notes that I have for us to practice today. So you will want those. And then I have these different supplies that I'm going to need. I'm going to need a heart. I'm going to need a quarter. I'm going to need this is about 1.5 inches in diameter. I'm going to need a couple blender stumps, maybe just one, who can say. I'm going to need scrap paper, of course. And I'm going to need at least one good pen. Whatever you choose will be just fine. But, you know, you're making something special for yourself or a friend, so you may want to use something a little more special. One thing that I really have never showed you, and I might need today, is this Mono Zero eraser. I love this thing because that's the eraser there. It's a spot eraser. It's very helpful to me. I also always have a brush when I use it, and it just works like this. It's like it just pushes like a pen. So anyway, it's a very handy thing. If I remember, I will put something in the comments or in the description so that if you want one for yourself, everybody I show, they want one. So let's start out. The first pattern I'd like to do with you is spiral rose, and I'd like you to use that 1.5 inch or your helix or whatever is handy to get a pencil circle on a piece of scrap paper. So now that you have that, I'm going to work with pencil a little bit longer, starting on this one in the middle, but you don't have to. You can start off center. It will be just fine. I'm going to make a spiral, round, wider, and off. It can look like any version of this. Pencil is always adaptable and changeable. So please don't let that worry you that this doesn't look like mine. All right, the first one is weird. It's going to be a little bit hard to figure out what I'm doing at first, but you'll quickly get the hang of it. I'm following along with the pencil line, and then I'm going to come back and it's kind of like a kidney shape. That one, I will freely tell you, does not work out as well as the rest. You'll see. Okay, so I'm going to come along behind here and follow my pencil line. I'm going to come out and back in. Teardrop shape. Darken wherever I have that negative space, which is outside of the teardrop. Okay, I'm going to make another teardrop. I'm starting right here, wide, and then teardrop back in. Do it again. I'm going to be aiming wide, and it's going to be quite large. Look, I'm following my pencil line, quite large, teardrop, and back in. Do it again. Teardrop, wide. I'm touching that first one that I made. That's good. And now I have a lot of negative space here, and that's not really my friend in this pattern, but drama is always my friend. especially in this pattern. I'm not much of a drama girl. I'm sure you're not either, or I don't know. There are times, aren't there? Okay, so we darken wherever the negative space is. Let's do this again. I'm coming along here on this edge, following along, create a teardrop, bounce off if I can, and then I have very little here this time, and that I like better. Do it again. Follow along with the pencil line, around, 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 wide teardrop, and a little bit of negative space that I'm going to darken in. Okay, we're going to do this again. Teardrop, out, back in, and then look, I just have a little bit of negative space. Okay, teardrop out, back in, and a little bit of negative space again. So you can certainly do this with any size coin. You don't have to use the coin that I have, or just whatever circle you want can be just one that you just threw together. Now you notice these are going to start getting a little narrower now. Out, back in. Don't you think this is just sweet? It's going to turn out different every time. I have to warn you. I hope you don't mind that. It just is so cute. It is a really, really fun pattern. I love it, and I hope you do too. We'll be shading it and doing more with it, but we won't do that on our practice. The next one we're going to do is called wrapped rose, and I start with a spiral by starting with a dot. Then I spiral around and around and around and tie it off whenever I'm ready. So the next thing I'm going to do is make a bump. Watch, I'm going to bump out and back in. I'm going to come about, there's half, eyeballing of course, and I'm going to come at a quarter, out and back in, out and back in, bump out at about a quarter again, and back in. So every time it's eyeballing what you think a quarter of it is, and back in, and the bumps get bigger as you are radiating this sweet pattern out. I could go on with this pattern all day, but I'd really like it to be not too lopsided or wonky. So I'm probably gonna finish here pretty quick. I have to eyeball that. It seems a little elongated to me, so I could maybe add a couple more here. There, yeah, maybe one more even, huh? Okay. You can tell how fun that pattern is going to be, and it'll be very, very fun to shade too when we get there. Okay, I hope you had time to download your 3 fun patterns like this, and I can fit it all on the screen here. Oh, I forgot to show you. Oh my, this is the little love note that I made for you, my very favorite friends. I just put a little sticker that I had on here, and I put it on a little red paper, and I didn't decorate it up like you and I are going to, but I did get a little head start on myself there, didn't I? Okay, back to it. We're going to make this really, really sweet pattern, and let me show you where we're going today. Oh, fun. Maybe even into the land of color if you want. This is the first one we're going to make. This is the second, and here's the third. So you can recognize these two, I know. This will be on the job training, and I think you'll figure it out. So let's work together on this. All right. So I did go ahead and cut my 3 out just because it's easier for me to turn and turn and turn. I'm laying this heart. As you can see, it's the shape that you already had. So if you made 4, you can cut an extra one out and use it. Otherwise, I think you can probably figure this out. I'm going to trace this heart on here, and ink is just fine. You don't have to work in pencil unless you want to. But the next one I am going to do in pencil because I can get pretty wonky. I'm going to come down from here. Looks like a 1/2 inch to me. Anything is just fine. I'm going to follow along with the outside heart. Pencil is made to be changed, as you know. Nice, that didn't turn out so badly. All right, so let's lay this heart. This is called Oswald, or O for Oswald. I'm going to make a rice grain here. And then I'm going to radiate out all the way around. I'm going to go this direction one way and this direction the other way. So let's meet up at the end when we're finished, and I will see you at the other end in just a moment. And that's the finishing touches. Didn't that turn out sweet? We'll do some shading on this in just a minute. I would like to finish the stem that I had in mind for this pattern for us. It's called Heart Vine, and I'm going to come right along here anywhere and just make a pencil wavy line. You see, I've divided it at the top, and that's fine, and it's your choice whether you want to or not. So what I'm going to do is a series. I'm going to use this as a vine. I'm going to make a series of hearts. You can see they're not too giant. And then in between, I'm going to put some orbs. These are very random. Add some orbs. Can be a pattern, doesn't have to be. Your call. I know we've been making hearts since we were little. I don't believe any of us have any problem with that one. And I want to make a few fescue, which is this little, look at this, watch. Comes along, a long stick, and then just a substantial ball at the top. It's just it's a Zentangle pattern that is just kind of a wonderful little filler that you could use just about anywhere, and I think it'd be real cute in here. So I'm going to go down the whole thing, maybe with one, maybe with two, I don't know, different directions. And then I want to add some of these fun little orbs, like they're falling off, or maybe they're in the air, I don't know. You might choose to put this vine to one side. This is why, because you could write something down one side if you wanted. Like you could write a little love note, or, you know, a note to somebody, or I don't know what fun you could have with this. Another thing that I like to do, I'm not sure it's part of the pattern, is I like to put a couple of whiskers as fold lines, especially if the hearts have a little substance. They're a little, not too tiny. Cute, cute, cute. I just love this pattern. And I hope you do too. It turned out so sweet. Okay, let's do the next one. Grab a fresh paper. And this one, what I'm going to do is the center one. So I'm going to put my giant wrapped roses here, and then I have a little different pattern to show you, and then I put some rose type leaves. They have a little serrated edge to them, and that's why I'm calling it that. So you see I've got a couple of them, and it's certainly your choice how you want to do this, okay? Okay, so I'm going to start in one lobe, doesn't matter which, with that spiral. Go round and round and round. And then I'm going to start with those bumps. Bring it out, back in. Remember, there's half, there's a quarter, bump out and back. From there, it becomes pretty routine. Our biggest challenge, mine too, is not to work too small. I really have that problem, and it's not good for me. So I'm just giving you my opinion here. You should do what's right for you, of course, always. So kind of just enjoy going around here until you've had enough and you think it looks pretty good. And then let's do another one over here. Spiral. Tie it off. And now remember, we're going to do the bump out. And then about at a quarter. I believe some of you have heard me say that I was a 5th grade teacher in the day before retiring. And one year when a mom did these for all the students in the class, just the love notes, and then she put a pretty red sticker in them. So I'd like to connect these two. I'm going to do that with a simple wavy stick. And I think it should have some size to it because roses usually do have a stick that has size to it. And then I'm going to bring another one over here to connect this one. And back. And then I'd like to put that leaf that I showed you on here. So I'm going to come along, and it can be anywhere. It's just a regular half moon or half crescent, giant one, and the other direction. And then I'm going to make a line down the middle for the middle vein. I'm going to make veins go off to the side. I'm going to actually do them matching. Pretty close to matching anyway. And then I'm going to add the serrated edge. So what I've created for you down the middle is this very fun pattern, and I don't know the name of it. I am so sorry. This is just on-the-job training, but I'm going to come along here and give myself a little something to work with. So I'm creating a wavy line, and then this is the way this goes. I'm going to make a inward C. And I'm going to use the inward C to help me with this very fun heart that I'm going to put in here. At the end of the inward C, I'm going to put 2 or 3 substantial dots. And then I do like to add a little bit of whisker in there. You don't have to do that. I'm going to come along here now. And I'm going to use the curve that I made. Now this may be a pattern that has a name and attributed to somebody. I'm just not sure what it is or who it's to. If you know, please set me right. And I will be sure to give them credit because you know I like to do that. Comes another one. I'm just letting the wave that I made dictate where these sweet little hearts are going to end up. And those dots give me a lot of action, I think. Like movement, which is something we're always looking for in our work. That heart nestles right in there, doesn't it? Now I have room for a leaf up in here or here. So I think I will put one just to tie the base together with the top. I'm going to put a leaf. Ooh, look at me. I did it backwards this time. I like that. Think I have room for another. Well, so long as I'm consistent to myself, that's all that matters. And then let's serrate them again. That's simple, just in and out. Tiny little pattern. So I will probably be cutting these out when I'm finished, and maybe I'll even colorize them. I'm not sure. We'll see. I think that is so sweet. I hope you do too. Here, let me turn it this way so you can see the whole thing. Isn't it pretty? I would just assume do all the shading at the same time. Okay, grab number 3. This one, we're going to use those wonderful, wonderful roses called spiral rose. Spiral rose needs a pattern, I think. I'm going to start giving myself one right here in the middle in pencil. I'm going to try to leave enough room so that I can add another one, maybe 2. But I'm going to have to use that quarter because I don't want it to be as big as this. And I am going to go for an overlap. It's kind of like I did when I showed you the sample here. So I ended up with 3 there, one on an overlap and another one just by itself. And then I have a 4th one up here. Your choice. You should make this obviously your own. And we haven't done an overlap one together, but I think you got this. I don't feel worried about you at all. This one looks like it's going to be by itself up here again. I'm using a quarter, a nickel would be fine, or your helix. And then I have room for one up here. I love this rose. This spiral rose is so sweet. That's probably all I need my patterns for today, for now. All right, so let's get started. Oh, that's right, this has to be pencil as well. Spiral around, remember it gets wider until you tie it off on the outside edge. Do it again. And you can make this off center now, and I think I probably will. Spiral around. Do it again. Spiral around. And here. Spiral around. Very nice. Okay, we're ready for all 3. So the first thing I'm going to do is create that kind of an amoeba shape in there, or kidney shape, which really doesn't make much sense to me. It isn't right, but whatever. Okay, so off of that edge and using my pencil line, I'm going to come around here and create a teardrop. And I can close it off right now, it looks like, so I will. Come on around. Teardrop around again. Darken that area between. The beauty of this pattern is in the whole look, not just one little part. Come around. Try very hard to touch that last one you had. I've got a lot of dark here, but I think that'll be fine. Keep all of your 3 patterns handy because we will shade at the end together. Ooh, it's so pretty. It's beautiful shaded too. Okay, let's start again. Kind of an amoeba or kidney shape and then around. These are going to act quite a lot different because they're so much smaller. And I'm going to go behind now. That hollow ball technique here. I can't see where this is going until I get to my next one almost. That's interesting. And these are going to get tight. Come around, teardrop, teardrop again. And that sweet little one is finished. Let's do it again, one more time. Kind of an amoeba shape or kidney shape. From there, this one goes out and then teardrop back in. Out, teardrop. You'll probably notice quite a lot of difference in the size when you get such a small one compared to that big 1.5 inch one we did. Not enough to do anything there, so I'll just darken that little spot all by itself. But I do have one down here. all together. And these sweet things are finished. So the pattern I have developed here is actually someone else designed this as well, but I can't tell you the name who it is. I think it's as cute as it can be. I thought it would be nice, and you would still have room to write something else there if you wanted. So there's certainly other patterns you could choose. And what I'm going to do is come along right from here with a series of lazy X and just zigzags. Wide or as narrow as you want, does not matter at all. You can go right down the middle or a little to the side like I did so that I would have enough room if I want to write something on this little love note that I've made. And there. So what we do is this. With this pattern, I'm going to use this side. I'm going to come up here and make a heart that goes back down there. Isn't that easy and cute? I'm going to do it again, an aura. So I'm going to go round, tight at the bottom, and then back up. And then I really do like the look of adding these little thick little whisker things inside here. You can call them whatever you like. Just like that. As cute as it can be. Okay, so using this this side of the zig and zag and make yourself a heart. Now you may prefer to come along and do all the hearts like that. And then do your second one. So I will catch up with you at the end and we will all get back together again. So I'm going to take a minute and get some of them gone. I'll have to do the others as I see them. Seems to me this is missing part of its fun over here, so I should add that. Okay, everybody, it's time for a little shading on this fun project that you and I did together. I have some ideas for you, and maybe you have different ones, but I would like to put some shading at the base of each of these petals. Now you could put a few whiskers on here too if you wanted this to just stand out. Don't really think it's necessary. It's your choice, of course. These hearts, they're kind of standing on this zigzag thing. They look so cute. I could do a little more with that, but I'm pretty happy with what I have. So let's get a little bit of shade. That's quite a lot. I don't know if that looks like a lot to you or not. Depends on how you're viewing it. There we go. And then smudge in here in each of these spiral roses. Trying to make it follow the edge. We're kind of staying away from the middle just a bit here. And going on the edges. Oh my goodness, isn't that pretty? The last thing I want to do on here is sign my initials somewhere in a kind of unobtrusive place. It's not about me. I don't know where, when you get a piece like this, where you would sign, you put your initials on. Let's go ahead and shade the other two. So I have this sweet wrapped rose, and I definitely want some shading behind the petals. So my pencil is pretty sharp here. I'm going to get shading on the spiral. I'm not going to shade every single petal. I'm going to shade some petals. There's other stuff we could do with this too. Let's just see how this lays out for us. Get a little shading around a lot of the outside, maybe not all. And then the other one around the spiral. Going kind of loose there, that's all right, it'll all blend in. But this one is where I may end up using that spot eraser that I showed you at the beginning. That will let me get into these little spots a lot easier than a great big eraser if I needed. Alrighty, and then I want to go down the center of this because I want this leaf to have the illusion of having depth. And if I darken just the center, that will help. I'm also going to darken the edge, or the little area in the heart, the middle area. There. Grab your blender stump. Well, let's see how this wrapped rose works out. Oh my goodness. It's so pretty. I'm trying very hard to not have any pencil lines, just ending up with the shading from the pencil. Keeping my pencil real sharp is my best friend when I'm shading, that's for sure. And it's important that we have gray and white and black, all three colors. So we don't want it just to turn gray, which is why I didn't do every petal. I'm trying very hard to make sure my finger and my wrist, my hand, does not get in here also, because I don't want, that will potentially really smudge. Depends on the kind of paper you used, of course. That matters. I always try to use the best cardstock I can for projects like this. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh my, I hope you like yours. You probably will want to take the opportunity to grab your color pencils and get some color pencil on this, and maybe some red if you have it, and really doll this fun thing up here. I love the way it turned out. Don't forget your initials somewhere. That's just as important as the drawing is. And then the third one. Let's get some shading on here as well. Okay, I have a little erasing to do on here. These, and all I'm doing is just dotting. See, I've got my gum eraser, and I'm just lifting the pencil off of there. Don't really, and I don't need, I'm not worried about it on the heart though, so I think that's pretty good. Get it out of those little white divots. I want them to stay white, or whatever color I'm using. Happens to be white. Alrighty, so with my pencil, I'm gonna go inside of the heart all the way around as tightly as I can. Keep my work real close. I am being very heavy-handed here on both sides. I want this to turn, to have the appearance of being rounded. And the best way to get that is to have both sides darkened on the inside of the heart itself. And that's going to help us with that illusion, because we're going to make sure that we leave that center white and gray around the edges. Maybe darkening to black is what I'm hoping. So no matter where you get your pencil or what pencil you use the softest lead that you can easily handle. And you practice on the back of your paper. But I would definitely suggest a 4B if you can. It's a little harder than our school pencils are. And then I want to just add a little bit of shading at the base of each of these hearts. See, this is a place I probably, after I shade, I would get my color out and do some different shades. Get some black and some different colors. Okay, first shading. I may have to do this a couple times to have it be really cool. I'm trying to get close so that right here at the line, it's the darkest. And then you see I'm trying to smudge out, push, push, smudge out. Following those wonderful little pen lines, the curvy pen lines I made in my heart. And I'm smudging, but I'm staying away from that middle area. Like I said, if I have to do it again, then I will, because I want that to be as dark as I can get it. I'm trying very hard to make sure that this is softened so that you can't see that black line, the pencil line that I put in there. Just to delineate it. Smudge it out a bit. You've probably wondered why this is so small, depending on the blender stump that you have. And it's so that you literally can put it in your palm and work on the side. And so it was quite on purpose that the Zentangle people did that. Just thought you'd be interested. Hope. You see I'm kind of smudging in a bit of a circular motion too. I think that gives the illusion I'm looking for. It's very curved. If I have a little white, I would add a little more white in here, and I didn't grab my white today, so this is what we're going to use. Quickly run your blender stump up the hearts, up your heart ladder here. So cute, aren't they? And then grab your pencil so that you can put your initials on here somewhere. Some little spot. Oh my goodness, I hope you liked this project. Thank you so much for working with me, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you again for week number 2. What a fun adventure we're going to have. Share it with a friend if you wouldn't mind, and give them your love notes. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.